Hey guys, this is Brian from the Dude What Movie Review Podcast. I want to thank you for tuning in to the special side table edition of our show. We're gearing up for season 2. We got a lot of irons in the fire. We got a lot of things that are going to be coming out, and we decided to throw out some special content for you guys. And you know we like to do these side tables where we do a deep dive on one specific movie, and we're doing this just in time for March 16th. If you guys know what that means, then you know, and you're going to have a lot of fun with this episode. There's going to be some language on this episode. We're going to talk about some serious subject matter, but we have a really, really long, in-depth discussion about a pretty sweet movie that I enjoy very much so, and it's actually kind of a Jim's homework assignment because Jim hadn't seen this movie until now. So sit back, relax, and have a little fun.
Are you not entertained?
What?
Are you not entertained?
What?
Is this not why you are here?
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
That was awesome.
A lot of people are probably wondering what the hell are we doing with some Steve Austin audio on the show. Hi, guys. We're doing a side table discussion today. We're going to have some fun doing something completely different. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you were looking at a calendar right now, it's going to say March 16th, 316, as in Austin 316. And we decided to do a fun side table discussion that's also kind of going to be a Jim's homework assignment.
Yeah.
Jim's got homework that he had to get caught up on.
So, did you do the homework?
Is this your homework, Larry?
I've got tons of homework, Mom.
Is this your homework, Larry?
We know it's his fucking homework.
It's a beautiful day. My homework is done.
Oh, we'll see about that.
Yes, we will see about that, Jim. You had a homework assignment that I kind of gave you. We decided to do something fun in honor of Austin 316 Day, Stone Cold Day.
Yeah.
It's the unofficial holiday of the professional wrestler from WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Cut his famous promo at the 1996 King of the Ring tournament. Austin 316 was born, and ever since then, everyone celebrates March 16th as unofficially Stone Cold Steve Austin Day. And you had no idea about any of this.
I didn't, but I'm not mad about it now.
No, nobody's mad about it at all. So what we decided to do here on our podcast, we do these side table discussions. We did Black Widow, we did Mortal Kombat, Army of the Dead. We had a lot of fun doing those. It's basically whenever we both watch a film that we know we're going to talk long on, and we just can't fit it into our regular movie talk segment. So in honor of 316 Day, we decided to throw something fun on the feed for you guys, and we're going to actually talk about, in Jim's homework assignment, the movie The Condemned, which is actually Stone Cold Steve Austin's big breakout starring role.
Yeah.
It's a 2007 action film called The Condemned. It's got Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vinnie Jones. It's basically what the premise of the film is. This producer, TV producer, has kind of been blacklisted, kind of been ousted from his peer group in Hollywood. And he decides, I'm going to go straight to the internet and produce my own TV show that no one thought I could do. And basically the premise of his show is he's going to basically buy the freedom of 10 prisoners from all these different weird scattered third world countries all around the world. He's going to buy 10 prisoners, buy their freedom. He's going to bring them into an island. He's going to have them fight to the death and record it all and put it on the internet. And in the process, hopefully make billions and billions of dollars off of it. And the winner of the tournament will get $1 million and their freedom. So Steve Austin plays one of the prisoners. Vinnie Jones plays one of the prisoners. And that's kind of where the story starts right there, where all these basically criminals and these prisoners are brought to this island. I personally like the film a lot. I don't read too much into it. I take it for what it is. It's just an action film. I enjoy the concept. I enjoy the story, but we're going to kind of focus on what Jim thought about it. And then we're going to, in the process, talk about the film in its entirety. So we're going to do an in-depth movie talk on it. So Jim, I got to get your immediate reactions off of it. I think you just watched it last night or night before last?
Night before, yes.
Okay. So The Condemned, 2007, action, Steve Austin. Give me your thoughts on it.
I think we need to, if you have not seen The Condemned, some people be like, what? Like streaming, feel like this has been done before. It has, but this came out around Netflix, Amazon Prime,
Yep.
like all the streaming services we have now weren't really a big thing.
They were,
back then.
I believe Netflix around this time was still the whole mail you a DVD
I think
setup.
you're right. I think
It wasn't
YouTube
the
may have been
streaming
around.
giant that it
YouTube
is now.
was probably around, but like
YouTube was around, but it's you got to realize 2007, this is, I mean, literally, what, 14, 15 years ago? I mean, this is a while back. So much has changed with regard to the streaming platform.
Yes.
And with regard to the internet as well. And so a lot of people during that time were like kind of piggybacking and jumping onto this idea of just going straight to the web.
Yeah.
We're going straight to the consumer. People can access this from home. They don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to pay anything extra. Specifically talking about this film with the story, they had to pay for the website access. But, you know, it's on the web. It's right there. You don't have to do anything extra. Just put in your credit card. You're ready to go.
Yeah, it was definitely like had a behind the paywall kind of deal.
Right.
Like what Patreon kind of
Yeah.
thing would be like today almost. But, you know, watching it,
Yeah.
there's a few things. You know, it was back when, but I think it was still WWF at the time, wasn't it, or no?
I believe
Or had they switched over
It
yet?
was getting close. If it was, I mean, you know, I'll check it here in a minute, but I'm pretty sure they were still WWF, and I think it was like on the cusp of them having to transition to WWE because of the, I think it was World Wildlife Foundation.
Oh, okay,
They claimed that there was infringement, and the only reason why they claimed infringement is because of the quote unquote Attitude Era in WWF. It was really risque, really pushing the envelope, pushing the boundaries, language and content and stuff. And WWF, World Wildlife Foundation, they didn't want to be any part of that.
Right,
so
yeah.
they took them to court and got them to change it.
Yeah, you don't want your little kid being like, "Hey, mommy, I'm looking up raccoons." Like,
Those aren't raccoons.
Yeah. Yeah, so The Condemned. So
Your tone already.
so,
Let me hold on before you even start. Let me just go ahead and say this right now. All right,
I think
this is not Godfather. Okay,
No,
this is a
no.
guilty pleasure film
Yeah.
for me. So let me put it in that context. I'm not saying this is a landmark film. I'm saying I personally love it. Like we talked about, like with Roger Ebert, like when he gives a review for a film and he gives it like this stellar 4-star review.
Yeah.
When it's actually a shit movie. You know, I'm telling you up front. This is probably not going to be a movie that a lot of people like. And in fact, the Rotten Tomatoes score is like 38%. I love the film. Okay, that's me.
it was very reminiscent at the beginning, just because it was back when, I want to say The Rundown with The Rock.
Okay.
It reminded me of that, as far as, you know, just the vibe at the very beginning. And more so only because it was part of the wrestling, the WWF, WWE,
Right.
their production company.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is, WWE, I believe it's just WWE Pictures is what it's called.
Yeah.
But this film itself was distributed by Lionsgate, which, I mean, Lionsgate has done a ton of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
From John Wick to the Hunger Games films and, you know, all kinds of films.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you know, it has kind of that, I think maybe MTV had their hand in it a little bit too.
Yeah, MTV,
possibly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, so it was one of those that, like, you're like, okay, I
Yeah.
kind of know what
Typical,
vibe.
yeah,
you're
pretty
gonna
typical of Vince McMahon, WWE, you know, president, COO. You know, he just kind of wants to filter out. I mean, it's all about entertainment, and
Sure.
wherever he can, you know, kind of create these business partnerships with, he's going to.
Yeah, most definitely. So, like, you get all of that on the front end with the credits and stuff coming in, and, like, you know what kind of
Right.
movie you're about to see, a movie with some wrestlers in it.
Definitely not an art house film.
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah, no. Actually, after I sat down and started watching, I was like, I feel like I've seen this before.
Okay.
Which is very possible. It was interesting for me because there is a movie that I saw back in the 90s that this was very reminiscent of. And it is called Surviving the Game.
Okay.
It had Ice-T in it, Charles Dunton, Gary Busey, John C. McGinley. And basically the premise was that they found more or less this homeless guy that they were going to offer a bunch of money. He thought he was going out on this like hunting trip type deal. Little did he know that he was being paid to be hunted.
Ah, gotcha.
Kind of deal. So it was reminiscent of
Gotcha.
some of that, is what I was thinking about. But also came out a long time after this. There was a lot of stuff from the series The Hunger Games. Mm-hmm. Watching The Condemned after I had seen The Hunger Games, knowing that The Hunger Games came out after The Condemned,
Right.
I was like, okay, did we just literally steal from this movie? The big difference between this and the Hunger Games, though, the Hunger Games has a lot more story.
Right.
There's a lot more depth to the characters.
Yeah, The Condemned is a pretty straightforward story.
This
Not
is very much an action movie.
action, grit, dirty.
Which I love. I love action movies. So, like,
Yeah.
I was down. I was down for it.
Okay.
Vinnie Jones Dude,
evil.
like the picture, even on the cover.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, he's the villain.
Right.
obviously.
Yeah.
If there was a question, which if you see him in a movie, he's probably the villain.
More times than not, yes, he is the villain. Yeah.
Yeah, he's so good at it.
He is.
He really is.
He's one of those guys that embraces the typecast.
Very much so.
And there's nothing wrong with that because it's a niche style character to play, and very few people do it better than him.
I would agree. Yeah, and especially in this one.
Yep.
Okay, I will give the actual movie review here in a minute. I'm just kind of
That's
giving
fine.
you
We're
some.
fine. We're just talking here.
I know.
Just two guys talking.
But so there was a character that I liked at the very beginning, and it
Okay.
actually, the more I was like, man, he reminds me of somebody
Okay.
that we know, that you and I know.
Okay.
The character is Goldie.
Yeah.
And I doubt they listen to this, but a gentleman that used to work with us at DHL.
Oh, yeah.
Just the
look, the way he looks,
demeanor,
yeah.
kind of the way he acted,
Yeah.
even.
Oh, yeah.
Reminded me a lot
Yeah.
of him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And-
I've always thought that.
I
Yeah.
was just like, wait, what am I watching?
You're like, did he become an actor?
I was like, is this like his one big movie? From, but Goldie, which I like Goldie. Like he was this guy that he's this tech guy that's like, hey, he's in charge of setting everything up.
Right.
He's like, yeah, boss, like we're doing this,
But then you see his breakdown of morality.
Well,
like
the reality
his
of like,
crisis of it.
this was a really cool idea until you get into it and realize
it's not so cool at all.
Yeah, that actually this is dark and twisted, and
Right.
Which I got a lot of commentary on that as well. But there's a couple lines in it that I actually kind of enjoyed. So there's a point early on where the mention of you improvise, you overcome, you adapt.
Right.
Altogether is 400 lenses, right? Correct. But there are dead spots all over this island. I do not have enough time. The show is not going off. We are at war, Goldie.
Gotta improvise, overcome, adapt.
This is not war, Breck. This is television. It's much more complicated.
I feel like that's in almost every military-esque film.
Yeah.
It stuck out to me just the way it was delivered. It reminded me a lot of the movie Heartbreak Ridge.
Okay.
With Clint Eastwood. I'm not going to ask you if you've seen that one or not, but it was a guilty pleasure of mine when I was younger. I
Right.
To watch it. I don't know. That phrase has always stuck in my head in a Clint Eastwood voice. So
Right.
whenever I hear it so put together like that, I've heard it mentioned in different ways, but the way that it was in this one, I was like, Heartbreak Ridge. Like immediately is all I could think of.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, kind of makes sense, if he says it in that regard, because the person who delivered the line is actually a TV and film producer. And so who knows? Maybe that was just something that was in his psyche.
It very well could have been.
Yeah.
Very well could have been. One of my favorite lines early on, Mr. Stone Cold. What's his real name? No.
In the film?
Conrad.
In
Jack
the film
Conrad.
is Jack Conrad.
So Jack Conrad, like he, when they're asking him where he's from. And,
Well, where are you from? Back in the States then, huh?
Alaska.
Alaska. Whereabouts?
About 80 miles north of Anchorage. Little fishing town, you probably heard of it. It's called Fuck Your Mama.
and the way he delivers it, man, because you're like, oh, okay.
What makes that line so funny and so like pointed is how he's asking him all these preliminary questions
Right.
leading up to it.
Right.
And he's like, what were you doing in El Salvador? And he's like, I was working on my tan.
Oh, my dad, yeah.
He's like, why'd you blow the building up? It was blocking my sun.
Block my son. Yeah, that whole little piece of dialogue was funny, but
Yeah.
like the way he just kind of ends it with like little town and
Because he's messing with him.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not dicking around with you. He's like,
Right.
so I'm just gonna mess with you or whatever. So he keeps asking and keeps asking and keeps asking, and it gets to that point where he's like, he's done answering questions.
Right.
Like, a little,
it's just like a great line. I'm just like, mental note, I need
Yeah.
to keep that in my back pocket if I'm ever a job interview you don't want. And be like,
Right.
so where are you from? You just be
That's hilarious. That's really funny.
yeah, one of my favorite lines, I would say. And then I also found that there was a little Easter egg in there for Dude What.
I don't know who you are, and I don't care. But I don't play games.
You don't have to win, but everybody plays.
And I was like, oh, I've heard that before.
Which I feel like in that moment, because like prior to that, he's like, Brickell, he gets irritated with Conrad, and he's
Yeah.
like, he's pissed. He's like, you know what? Write him up. He's a racist. He's from the South.
Right.
He's a KKK member. All this stuff. He's like, you're not going to come here and screw with me. If anybody's screwing with anybody, I'm screwing with you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so when he delivers that line, you don't have to win, but everybody has to play.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a really pointed, powerful kind of line in that moment.
Oh, for sure. Especially, yeah, because he's he's pulling the strings.
Right.
But I had to make a note of that. It's like, oh, little dude what action there. So
So at this point in the film, like for you watching it, when you get up to that point, like what are you thinking about the setup so far? Like the introduction of the different characters, the introduction of the staff that's working on putting this show together. Like, how do you feel at that moment?
You know, it's kind of your typical action movie,
right?
In the sense of like mainstream wrestler. I mean, that's typically where most wrestlers, they will jump into an action movie.
Right.
You normally don't see them go from wrestling to romantic comedy right away.
Right.
It's just a natural transition.
Right.
And so it's kind of just your standard, hitting all your action tropes and stuff as far as like kind of gives you enough setup and then it just dives right in.
Right.
There's one guy, actually another one of the characters, one of the Condemned, that I was like, I don't know who that is, but I feel like he looks like a wrestler.
Okay.
He was one of the big guys that he was fighting.
You're talking about the really, really big dude.
Really big guy.
Yeah, so you're talking about, he's really the first prisoner that you see in the film.
Yes.
It's kind of like this like Russian prison or something, like somewhere European, definitely. And this is a big dude that you don't want to mess with. And his name is actually Nathan Jones.
Okay.
He's taken on roles in Hollywood where they need a big giant guy or whatever.
Yeah,
and he actually did wrestle for WWE, like on different points, but never became a big mainstream star.
Yeah.
But he was always a guy that they would consider a worker. You put him in there, big dude, looks really good. He can throw people around and stuff. One of those guys that has good curb appeal, so to speak.
Sure,
but
Yeah.
isn't going to be.
He's got the physique.
Right. He's not going to be a next tier wrestler. He's not going to be a superstar, but he's definitely big. He's got a presence.
Yeah. And I feel like I maybe have seen him as kind of some secondary characters in other movies as well.
You probably have, yeah. He's popped up in quite a few. Actually, he was in the Mortal Kombat movie that we went and did our field trip. He played the general that got his head smashed by Jax.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Nathan Jones.
Yeah. And there's a couple of, you can tell there's a couple of guys that I'm like, I've been out of the wrestling world for a long time.
Right.
And even for a long time when this would have came out, I had been out for, so there was some though that I was like, okay, I feel like those are probably people they brought in.
Well,
as extras and stuff, which makes sense because
truth be told, for me personally, the only reason why I went and saw this film initially is because of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was a huge Austin fan when I actually did watch professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And so when I heard that this film was coming out, when I started seeing the initial trailers, I was like, shit, that actually looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
And so that was the appeal to go see it.
Yeah.
Apparently, based off the Rotten Tomato score, I'm like one of like maybe 20 people that actually enjoyed the film.
So I will say this from an action standpoint, I enjoyed it.
From an action standpoint,
yeah. But okay. I think because to me, I'm not going to say that I was bored with it.
Okay.
But it definitely felt more like a homework assignment. Does that make sense?
Right. If you had your choices, you wouldn't watch this.
Well, and I do think it's because after seeing movies like The Hunger Games,
where the production value's better and the storyline's better.
I think there's 4 movies, I can't remember, of The Hunger Games.
Right.
Like it's a whole franchise.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have all these books and stuff, and there's all this backstory. It took time to develop the plot and just develop the story and everything.
Yeah.
This is not one of those. This is a action movie, just popcorn flick.
Right.
That's it. That's all it is.
Yep.
But I think after watching something of being invested in the characters like in Hunger Games, the whole premise of Hunger Games is the same thing. It's not they were taken from these prisons from all over the world,
right?
But it was
from
like
their home.
They were taken from their home to fight in the games,
right?
And everyone's watching it.
Yeah.
It's just something that this kingdom, if you will, maintains some sort of entertainment.
Similar plot point, just a different way of presenting it.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And so there's more depth to that.
But more focused more on the storytelling aspects of the characters.
And,
yeah. Whereas like we said, this one's straight up action. Your characters are dropped into this situation. This is the situation that unfolds.
Yeah.
Okay, so action you dug.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty good.
there was a good fight scenes. There was good kill scenes. Because when you're looking at action, you're looking fight scenes. I mean, we've talked about it with Mortal Kombat and things.
Yeah.
Is that
you want to get creative?
Yeah, there's got to be some creativity.
Creative, but not over the top.
Right. And you have your characters that they were. I feel like the characters stay true to their fighting styles and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. 2-part question for you.
Yes.
What did you think of the first official death on the island? And then what did you think of the producer Brickell's reaction to it? The first official death being the guy that got thrown from the helicopter.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I personally thought it was hilarious. I thought it was
it was one of those like karma's a bitch things, right?
Right.
It's like, dude, they're going to throw you out of the helicopter.
Yeah.
You are chained up. Like, why are you fighting them right now? You know, it was one of those, like, it's not going to go well for you. And yet, you know, Jack Conrad, he pretty much did the same thing, except, you know, he didn't fight them like a rabid dog or whatever, you know.
I see what I enjoyed about it, you know, especially looking back, because I've seen this movie dozens of times, and that scene in particular where the guy gets thrown out of the helicopter and gets killed, you know, basically impaled on this broken dock.
Right.
What it reminded me of, thinking back on it, was years later, another side table discussion that we had, the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Where you have the opening scene where everyone just basically more or less gets just taken out at the front at the beginning of the film. You know, and like we talked about the Michael Rooker character that was promoted heavily in the trailer. Yeah. Then he's like one of the first ones to get killed. Yeah. You know, I thought like the duality between the two, I felt like it was done right in this one because it was essentially a no-name character that you're not invested in. So it's okay to throw that character away. Whereas with the Suicide Squad, you spent X amount of dollars in promotion with Michael Rooker, who is a name in Hollywood, and then you kill him in the first scene. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. No, well, and I mean, this one here, it lended itself to the story itself.
Right.
Really.
Yes.
Because of the simple fact that, they are throwing them out of a helicopter around this island.
Right.
The reality is, you might miss.
You might screw up.
Especially when you're, like, rocking back and forth fighting somebody, and next thing you know, they're just, like, pretty much jumping out.
What did you think of Brickell's response to that? Whenever they saw, he's like, guys, pay attention.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, I'm trying to put a show on here.
Yeah, so that was...
there were instances in the dialogue that I thought the dialogue was done pretty well.
Yeah, there was definitely some wit to some of it. There was definitely some of that. I think overall, like, from an action movie standpoint, it's good.
Okay.
It is a good action movie. You know, again, I think for me, it was a little boring.
You didn't have the advantage of seeing this prior to seeing other films like it. That's the problem with it.
That's the big thing.
Yeah. What did you think about the plot that was actually driving the story, aside from the action? Just this, I don't know how else to put it, like evil TV producer, like his angle on what he wants to do and like how he's driving it. What did you feel about that plot? Like the idea of setting it up for everyone to watch, and then like his really kind of very defiled, driven kind of attitude towards what he wants to do with regard to producing a show like this.
Well, funny you should ask, Brian. Because I was going to get to that.
Oh, yeah?
You know, I made a note, and I'll just use that as a jumping off point.
Okay.
I feel like the story, like the basic story is we're taking these people that are condemned for death from all over the world. We're putting them on an island. They're basically fighting to the death. The winner gets his freedom and some money. And then, you know, the guy's making billions off of charging like $50 for signing on to watch the Condemned.
Yeah, because I think at one point you see that he has reached like 50 million viewers.
Yeah,
50 million subscribers have logged in and paid good money to watch.
And they talk about like the interview that he had with the TV person, reporter. You know, it's talking about how a millionaire becoming a billionaire on this. And it's interesting because, you know, we've talked about this, I think, before on different action films where sometimes it's like, hey, if it's a popcorn film, just leave it at that.
Okay.
We don't need your social commentary.
Gotcha.
However, I'm trying to put myself back in that time period. It's interesting to see that there's kind of these things of like almost a warning, right? Of like unfettered ability to stream things on the internet.
Right.
Can lead to not good things.
Right.
That people are going to use that to their advantage.
Right. Yeah.
And exploit others. My note was like, it just really taps into the ugly of the internet. And it's just interesting now that we are definitely full throttle social media streaming world. Right.
There's a certain level of depravity whenever you accept the fact that you're going to hop on a social media platform, or you're going to hop on YouTube, or you're going to hop on the internet for that matter. Like you are subjecting yourself to a base level amount of some kind of bullshit somewhere along the way.
Yeah, it's just the fact that we live in the world that we do now, the streaming age, the digital age.
Everything at the touch of your finger.
And you have the opportunity to kind of go back in time before this was a thing, and you kind of see a warning in this movie about like, hey, greedy motherfuckers are going to use the internet to exploit others for their gain.
Yes. It's funny that, you know, you tapped into that and you made notes of that, because going back and getting notes for this, I was looking at some of the reviews for the film, and it scored really low. Now, I don't know how many people who reviewed this at the time have gone back and rewatched it and like compared it to what's going on now, what we see now with social platforms and the internet and everything, how it is these days.
Right.
But one of the main ticks on it was like you just said, you know, if it's a popcorn flick, just leave it a popcorn flick. Don't put this social commentary on it. But that was like the big knock on this film at the time,
which is crazy,
was that we don't need your morality. We don't need this morality tale in this film or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But me personally at the time, I thought it blended well.
Yeah.
And so it's funny seeing it X amount of years later, and it's like you read the reviews for it, you're like, that's bullshit. That don't hold up.
Right.
You know, that don't hold up at all.
Yeah.
And like you said, if anything, it's a cautionary tale. Well, it's a heightened level of storytelling.
Very much so.
You know, it's taking social issues and stuff and just kind of amplifying it a little bit, but the base is there.
Yeah. It's kind of like when we were talking about with Avatar.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Same old type of story.
Yep.
Very similar, like a business person exploiting others for their gain. You know, that's the base core crux of it. Here's the reality, and we talked about this before as well, in storytelling and in film, in any art form, really. You know, there's really nothing new under the sun.
No,
it's
pretty much.
Like,
no. It's basically taking
making something new out of what there is.
Just taking an idea that's already established and then putting a different spin on it.
Yeah, and so I mean, I feel like they did a good job with that.
Okay,
and especially knowing it's just really, I think for me, more poignant in the fact that because we do live in a media saturated world now,
right?
And the reality of like we all are a cog in this little wheel.
Yeah.
And we all are being exploited to some point for other people's gain.
Yeah.
But then we also, not just that, but then you have the other side of it where people are okay with it.
Right. That's the screwed up thing about it.
We'll bitch and complain about it, but yet
we're
still very much part of it.
I mean, we're part of it.
Well, we are. We are part of it. Let's be honest. Like, let's just go ahead and, you know, talk about the elephant in the room here. We're a podcast.
Exactly.
Granted, we've yet to make a dime.
We don't make money. We haven't made.
Done.
Look, yeah. Okay. Let's
lost a lot of money.
Let's peel back the curtain on this. All right. Let's just, we're always honest with our fans that listen to the show. All right, let's just be completely honest.
Yeah.
We haven't made one fucking cent off of this show.
No.
We have literally been doing this for fun. All right. If anything, we have invested probably a couple $1,000s over the last 5 years, easily, into this thing that has yielded nothing except for like a handful of people that really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I don't know. But for the most part, we're doing this as a creative outlet.
Yeah.
And so this is a lot of fun for us. But yeah, God damn it, I want some of that money.
Straight cash, homie.
I mean, yeah. So we say that. We're going to put a donate button if you want to give $45.
If you wouldn't mind. DudeWhatPod.com.
We're going to put all of this
hit
behind
that
the
donate
paywall.
button.
Yeah, no. It's just like,
everything's behind the paywall now.
We can't. I mean, we can laugh about it.
No, but the truth of the matter is, everyone is they play a small part. It's just the varying degrees of the fraction of the part that you play in it.
Yes,
but we all contribute to it.
Yeah, and I mean, now we're at a place where it's just the reality. It's the digital space is the marketplace,
right?
I mean, it really is, and so, but it's just interesting to see. It almost seems like it was very poignant in watching this. I think because in just the reality of the world we live in today. Just watching it through that lens a little bit, it was just like,
I can see,
man, this is rough.
I can see at the time when this film was released, being critical about the overly preachy tone of like the message you were trying to send, especially whenever it cuts to that news report where she's actually showing the interview and it's her talking directly to the camera.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand where at that point in the film, it could probably feel like you're doing a morality tale and like really overly preachy about the subject. But here we are, however many years removed from it, you go back and watch now. I feel like that scene's appropriate because where it falls in the film is you think Conrad's dead. Like he has spent this whole entire time fighting for his life. And you think it's now at the point where Vinnie Jones, his character, which is McStarley, you think McStarley has killed him. Yeah. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so...
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. I don't have the soundbite, but it's a fucking side table. If you don't know by now, come on.
Yeah.
But having that scene in there, because you have like his whole family, his friends who are like, you know, rooting for him to be safe. They want him to win. They want him to come back. But then you think he's dead, and now you have this news report that's kind of embedded in there as well. I felt like the layering of it was good. But I can see at the time where people would think it's overly preachy. I mean, you think about it, especially WWE fans at the time, because they went through the Attitude Era and everybody took a shit on that wasn't wrestling fans. It's like, it's too much language, too much nudity, too much blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they were taking hits after hits after hits on that, but they kept going with it.
Yeah.
And then so you put a film out like this that is very dark.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of dark elements in it. And you layer in this essence of morality, you know, questioning it and talking about it. It's like, where are we as a society? Nobody wants to have that shit thrown in their face.
Yeah.
So I can see why something like that would attract people in this film.
But in all fairness, though, it wasn't thrown in the face. Like, it did lend itself to the story. I will say that.
That's what I always thought about it as well.
It definitely does lend itself to the story because they're not being preachy in it. And the fact is that the reporter, she's an investigative reporter.
Right.
Like, so we listen to talking heads all the time. If you turn on any 24-hour news channel,
well, that's all news
you're
is
getting
anymore.
their commentary anyway.
Yeah, that's all news
it's
is.
Just, it's not, nobody reports jack shit anymore.
There's
it's just like, here's my opinion.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, I believe that too. You know, it's like, it's just like, okay.
Don't make us about Alec Baldwin.
Sorry. My bad. I didn't feel like it was being very preachy.
You didn't feel like that detracted from the film for you.
I feel like it was just part of the story.
Okay.
But it was definitely, there was like an element there.
Right. Okay.
But if you're just watching it for the sake of action, you're probably not paying attention.
Right. That's a fair point. Let's talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin himself, the man, the reason for us doing
the whole point of doing
this whole side table. Anyway, I believe this is his first lead role, starring role. I think he may have done some smaller stuff. I know he had done some guest starring role on Nash Bridges whenever that was still a TV show. Great character on that. He played basically like a bounty hunter. Good comedy action blend which is right up his alley. Because Stone Cold Steve Austin is actually a really funny guy. Like he has a great sense of humor. But let's talk about him specifically in this film. What'd you think about just his on-screen presence and how he handled his first leading role?
Yeah, I mean, I think he does have a presence about him. There's obviously a reason he became big in the wrestling world. And so, I mean, he obviously has acting chops. Unfortunately for him, and I can't speak to a lot of his other films, but I feel like he probably has been typecast from day one.
Absolutely.
Because it's very much like this big, brawn, just country boy almost. Like this kind of just a good old boy.
Right.
And maybe that's who he is in real life. Maybe that's who he is. But I just feel like he's kind of been typecast to be just that type of person. The film as a whole, when I was talking about the whole wrestling stuff, you see there are elements that it's just one of those when you watch the movie, you're like, okay, a wrestling company produced this.
Right.
And I don't know how to explain that.
No, I
mean,
get
there's
it.
just the right amount of cleavage in certain areas, and there's just the right amount of brawn and wrestling elements.
There's
to
a
it.
certain
There's
a certain trope checklist for an action film like this that needs to be met.
Yes,
and
within the wrestling.
Yeah, and they pretty much met all of it.
Yes, and so him being the main character, there's kind of this softness, almost this good old boy vibe that you get right away that you want to root for him, which is good. That's what you want for an action star. I don't know. I think overall, though, he did good. It's not like he had a ton of lines.
The funny thing about that, I highly suggest going on YouTube and checking out the behind the scenes making of. It's about a half hour long.
Okay.
Or if you happen to get the Blu-ray, it's on there as well. I think it might actually be on the DVD copy that I have, but there's a behind the scenes where they're talking about that, and they made the conscious decision to make sure that Conrad didn't have a lot of dialogue because that's his character. He's a straightforward, no BS, no time for bullshit kind of guy.
Right.
And to give him these big speeches and soliloquies and all this stuff would just kind of work against the character.
That's true.
And so it's a very straightforward person. And so they kept his dialogue succinct and straightforward.
Yeah.
And so everything that you heard was a lot of the stuff was some smart ass stuff, no BS. I don't have time for this kind of thing.
It's one of those when you're watching it, you go, I guarantee his backstory is he's special forces.
Yep.
And then ding, 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 ding.
Yep, special forces.
But just the way he carried himself, the way his character was, you knew.
How'd you feel about the kind of evolution of his character, finding out that he's special forces, what he's gone through, what he's done for his country, and then basically the country turning their back on him? Tried and true kind of storytelling.
It is. That's why, when I keep going back, I don't want to say that it's boring, but it was, if you just want to watch it for just the sake of watching it, watch it. I'd highly encourage, just for a popcorn flick, just action flick, if you've never seen it, definitely watch it. It hits all the action tropes.
Right.
But again, most action movies, they don't really part from that. You're not watching it to be oohed and awed and wowed in the dialogue and the, everything, as much as just watching to watch action, I think. But,
right.
you know, I think as his character, the unveiling of his character, I honestly think the storytelling element of the people back home, I feel like a lot of the secondary characters and cast, I feel like they did an amazing job, actually.
Well, it's this essence of storytelling that they have to pull off without actually being with the lead character.
Yeah.
Like they're having to act out the way they feel without having any kind of interaction with the character.
Yeah. And I think, though, that they did it really well. You definitely get the vibe of like, okay, this guy is from a small town in Texas.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him there. They love him. They adore him. He's a war hero there.
He served his time. Then he tried to simplify his life, and then the government pulls him back in to do these extra missions, and he ends up getting fucked over by it.
Yeah. When they were reading his profile and saying like the KKK and all these things, and it was like, that's not Jack.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I think for me, that's, again, hindsight, like looking at it from the day and age we're living in today.
Right.
It's like, and you see, like, he didn't have any control of what was being said about him to the world.
Right.
But the people that knew him knew that wasn't true.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, you sit there and you think about the interactions you've had with people on social media and all this, and that's where you're just
it makes you wonder, like, if you really sit and think about it, it's like, how much of your opinion of someone or something is informed by shit that you read online or that you heard second or third or fourth hand from someone else.
Right.
And then you actually meet the person, you're like, wow, you're not like any of that at all.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like, looking back on this movie, like, I'm laughing over here because I'm like, this movie scored so fucking low, but I'm looking back on it, I'm like, there's so many little things in the storytelling that are so prevalent today. It's like, how did it score so fucking low?
Because it literally is a middle finger, basically pointing.
Yes.
You know,
and what's funny about it, even most, is like it's spearheaded by WWE, who has always been like, you know, fucking, we'll do whatever we want anyway, kind of attitude, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they're the ones that's always been a target of attacks like this, and they're the one putting this out.
Putting it out.
And they're the ones giving the middle finger back. I think it's genius if you think about it.
It really is. And then if you start thinking about the name, the Condemned.
Right. Well, didn't the news reporter in her report?
Over the past 24 hours, millions have logged onto his website, and with his success, I am no longer angry. I am sad. Those of us who reward him, those of us who watch, are we the condemned?
Are we not?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally true. But I mean, you sit and look at it and you're like, yeah, I mean, we're the ones living in a prison of our own making.
We created the prison ourselves, and it's hilarious.
and yeah,
I always got a kick out of that. I thought that was funny. Let's talk about fight choreography real quick.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the action in this film with regard to the fight choreography?
I thought it was good. Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, just as far as it adapted well with the characters. So, like, you know, the first actual kill scene with the hillbilly.
Yes.
Whatever the hell that thing was, guy, and Sexy Lady. Like,
from Trinidad.
Yeah, so, like, you know, that interaction there, which honestly, when I saw him, I was like, why is he even there? Like, is he, like, I forgot that he was actually one of the characters, but, you know, it's one of those that you love to see. You hate to see it leading up to it, but then you're cheering because, you know, he explodes in bits and pieces. So, because it's like, serves you right, jackass. Like, hey, we're on this island, we got to kill everybody.
Yeah.
But let me try to get my rocks off first. It's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's
like, what kind of depravity are you?
You even see that later with McStarley. Whenever McStarley and Masa, the guy from Japan, they corner the couple.
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest scene in the film to watch.
Most definitely.
Because of the content that's happening within it. But this is a very dark film.
Very dark.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, it lends itself, though, to the story.
That's kind of what I was thinking, too.
On multiple levels with that particular one, with the couple, because it's like you have the couple, and you see his interaction with the husband, or I guess it was the husband, with Jack Conrad, you know, like with that interaction with him, and he's like, I don't have a beef with you.
I'm just looking for my wife.
Just looking for, yeah. And so you kind of already feel for this character a little more, just in that interaction.
Little traces of humanity within the storyline, even though you know that the content you're going to be dealing with is dark as hell.
Most definitely.
You know, especially when, like you said, you start off with the first actual official kill, the way that it builds and builds, and the way that it ends, and then you transition to the scene where they can kill each other in that moment, but like, what's the point? Like, I think both characters in that moment, they're like, we got to figure out a way to survive on this shit.
Yeah. Like, with the first kill, with the almost rape, basically, that happened, you know, you see back in the studio area, you kind of begin to see the seeds of the dissension beginning to
The
grow
doubt
already.
of what we're doing
of
here.
like, you know, especially old dude, I don't even know the jackass, what's his name?
Burkell.
His girl. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like, very early on, you could see she's starting to be like, I'm not really comfortable with
Well,
this.
she's all about in the beginning, you know, she's all about, you know, getting him this success and riding that wave. But then all this starts happening. And it's like, you know, she comes in that room, she's like, stop this. And he's like, what are you talking about? You know, we're
And
not
then,
stopping.
so by the time it gets to the couple, you know, then you've got Goldie in there with that, as well as the girlfriend. Like, they're both kind of at this point of like...
It's one thing to pitch the idea and start to develop the idea, but then whenever you start practicing the idea, and it's like, oh, shit, what are we doing here?
Eddie? Numbers.
We're climbing. Around 15 mil.
Stop this.
What?
What? Stop this.
Baby, come on. She's a killer and a whore.
She's a human being.
Yeah, who went on a killing spree with her husband. They're gonna execute her in Guatemala, remember?
No, this is wrong. This is sick.
Hey, you know what? The drama, I want it up there, not here. Okay, please.
Ian, how can you let this go on?
It's just happening, and we're shooting it. It's not my doing.
It is your doing. You set it up.
I put 10 people out there, and whatever happens, happens. Pure reality. No intervention. Where the hell do you think you're going?
Fresh air. What?
You're getting all soft on me, are you? I'm gonna hear a crybaby story from you two? Or are we just having a crisis of conscience?
No, Breck, it's not. It's not exactly easy to watch.
There's a whole hell of a lot of social commentary in this movie. It really is. Because even on that dynamic, I mean, we could do a deep dive on just that alone.
I'm telling you, like,
just the...
this is why I tell you what, I can't tell you how many times that I've had to defend this film, because I really do feel like it's an underrated film.
Yeah.
I feel like there's way more to it than most people give it credit for.
Yeah, there is.
I'm not saying it's the greatest film ever. It still is just a guilty pleasure for me, but I feel like it's a hell of a lot better than 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's my opinion. I think 38 does it a disservice, honestly.
No, I agree. There's probably a ton of wrestling fans out there that are just like trashing it.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
One important note, fight choreography. We've talked about this guy before. Richard Norton, who did the fight choreography on the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that he was the fight choreographer on this. And so you get to see some good interaction with him on the DVD extras, the making of. They talk in depth about the fighting style, because the one thing that they focused on with Stone Cold Steve Austin, he has this wrestling persona, you know, and his style in the ring, it's all like big punches, you know, and it's all like, you know, you have to be able to show off to the crowd. That's what wrestling's all about, right? Yeah. But in here, they had to make a conscious decision to keep him more square. He's more
a grappler.
He's straight up and down. He's a special forces trained guy. You know, it's quick attacks. Nothing big major. No wasted movements. It's all like boom, 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 up and down. And he worked really hard on that. They both worked together really hard to get the choreography down. And I feel personally myself that it paid off, because I feel like it translated really well on film. Yeah. What were your thoughts?
No, I thought he did well. His fighting style was that of what you would picture in your head of what a special forces person would be.
Right.
Every character, their fighting style was very...
They all brought something different.
They did. Some of them got to shine a little more than others.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I thought the fight choreography was really good, especially my favorite interaction with regard to fighting was basically the three-way dance between Jack Conrad, Massa, and McStarley.
Yeah.
Where you think Conrad's dead, you think he got blown up in the thing, but he found his way out and met up with them in the woods.
Yeah.
I thought that interaction between the three, where he's got the rebar taped to his forearms, and he's using that to block knives and stuff. I thought that whole entire sequence was really well done.
Yeah, and the whole setting of that actually was very reminiscent to me of Rambo.
Oh yeah,
First Blood.
Oh yeah,
like, you know, the rock
formations,
the water, like that whole fighting that took place there. I felt like it was very reminiscent of that. But, man, like overall, like I thought it was good. Like cool. I thought it was a good movie.
Awesome. One last thing I want to talk about before we I get to basically you giving me your opinions of the film, like with regard to ranking and stuff. Let's talk about the on-screen dynamic between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vinnie Jones. I felt like the build of that over the course of the film was really well done.
Here's the thing with film and with acting. Neither one of us are actors.
No, not at all.
We just know we like movies.
Yep.
So what I'm going to say is probably like, no, duh. But I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? You can have a actor as your star. And if you have a thumbs up co-star, they will bring more out of that person.
Yes.
This is one of those situations.
Yes.
When you have Vinny as a villain.
Solid, seasoned veteran on film, has a lot of experience. He's going to show up. He's going to do his job.
He's able to pull more out of that character
right.
than someone that's not seasoned.
Right.
So that automatically, that yin and yang with Stone Cold in this is like, you can tell that he's adding more depth to Jack Conrad's character with every shot that they're in together.
I loved the interaction between the two on the broken bridge when he goes to find the tower and he has to come back, and when on his way back, Vinnie Jones and Massa have tracked down the Mexican guy that has the injured leg, and they're basically torturing him.
Yeah.
And then Conrad can't get over there because the bridge broken, and they have this interaction between the two, and he's like,
I got you down as military. Like myself, Special Forces, SAS. Me and you, we got a lot in common.
We got nothing in common, you and me.
That disappoints me. That makes you soft. Not me. I'm the real deal. This, I've got to do for you. Burn, baby, burn!
It's simple dialogue, but it's effective dialogue.
Yeah, very much so. This really didn't have anything to do with a scene with Stone Cold, but is when McStarley, when he was sitting on the plane with the aviators on, when Massa comes out, and that interaction and stuff. There was so much depth to his character.
Confidence.
Yes.
So much confidence.
And there's just this, you can just tell, okay, this guy's a really bad dude. Not just that he's able to mess you up, but he's just a really evil guy.
Dark. Just a dark character, and you can see it. And it's something in the way that he just carries himself, and I think it has a lot to do with that. It's not even overconfidence, because he can back it up.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, he's just confident.
Yeah.
I loved his on-screen presence in this, and I loved the back and forth between he and Stone Cold Steve Austin with regard to their characters. I thought they played off each other really well. What'd you think of that final encounter between the two of those, when McStarley's just basically going ape shit in the little makeshift studio or the whatever, and then Austin's in there? He like basically just sneaks in behind him.
Bro.
Again, another scene where Conrad, played by Austin, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue. He doesn't need a lot of dialogue.
I will say that was one of those where they didn't hit the acting trope that you would expect for an action movie.
Could have been overdone.
Where there's this big, massive fight scene between them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because usually there's like, okay, well, you're at the boss man.
Yeah.
Like kind of
the final fight.
The final fight.
The final boss, yeah.
That didn't happen.
No, because they layered that foundation of action already leading up to that, and then like now it's like, this is the drama of it. Like, we're going to use this as our tipping point.
Yeah, it just I like it that he basically, there's one person left that McStarley had to go after.
Right.
And he's looking at her, and she just kind of looks over his shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at that moment, you don't even know fully, you don't realize it until he starts to turn, and you're like, oh, shit. And there's just this booming silhouette.
And all he does is look at
Austin. He just looks at
him. Like, he just looks at McStarley, and he goes, sit.
Yeah.
And McStarley's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was one of those. But yeah, it's kind of, I was picked. There's like the meme where the Undertaker's like behind you. That's one of the Undertaker.
That's basically it.
Yeah, it's like 2019. This is going to be my year, and then it shows 2020, where it's like the Undertaker.
That's
it's
hilarious.
Like perfect moment.
That's funny. I love their on-screen dynamic. I thought they played off each other really well. Which it's kind of funny. Vinnie Jones ended up doing some stuff with WWE, like making an appearance. They did a thing, I think it was called St. Valentine's Day Massacre or One Night Only or something like that, where they were in London.
Oh, okay.
And he came out to a huge ovation. Like people went ape shit, and he got involved in a match.
Okay.
And the two of them actually became pretty good buds off of this film.
Okay.
And if you watch, like I said, I highly suggest watching the behind the scenes stuff, the making of, because you get to see some funny interaction between the two of them on set and in their trailers and stuff. And so I think they became pretty good buds on that.
Now, did you say this is on YouTube? The making of is?
The making of is on YouTube.
Okay,
I watched it the other night.
I'll link to it in the notes of this
we'll link it on the show. It's about 33 minutes long.
Okay.
You get to hear from the actors, producers, and it's really, really good. And then it's also on the Blu-ray and on the DVD as bonus features. So
nice.
All right, Jim. Let's see.
We did a deep dive.
We did a huge deep dive. All right. So with all that being said, this is a Jim's homework assignment. Usually on these side tables, we don't give rankings. We just kind of talk about it or whatever. I think everyone knows how I feel about the film.
Sure.
I fucking love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But this was a homework assignment for you, Jim.
It
all right.
was.
This is an official Jim's homework assignment. So that being said, everything we've talked about, what would be your ranking on our scale for the movie The Condemned? And just know that
I know
this will affect our friendship.
I know. Okay,
if you give it an unfavorable ranking, Stone Cold Steve Austin is waiting outside. And he's going to come in and drop you in a stunner right here in the studio.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to whip your ass.
Okay, well, in that case.
All right, so 1 through 5, 1 being a dumpster fire, 5 being the best score we got on our scale. What do you think?
I got to give 2 different rankings on this
Okay,
one.
all right, let's see what you got.
So from just a popcorn flick, watching action movie,
gotcha,
all of that, I would give it a 3. I wouldn't say a high or low, just a 3.
Middle of the road for you.
Middle of the road for
Gotcha.
me. From a social commentary standpoint,
right.
Like there's so much.
Yeah.
It's actually, it doesn't beat you over the head. And you and I've talked about before how I hate when movies do that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it beats you over the head. It lends itself to the story in and of itself, but I think there is a lot of commentary, social commentary.
Okay.
If you are in tune to that. And because of that, I would give it, for the content, I would give it a 4.
Okay.
So I would say like a high 3, low 4 total. So like right in the kind of in between.
You got to pick one, man. Which one is it leaning more towards? Is it leaning more towards a 4 or is it leaning more towards a 3? Is it the high 3 or is it the low 4?
I would say a high 3.
What's your name, dude?
All right, Back to the Future Part 3 treatment for you.
Yeah.
Very high 3.
Yeah.
Well, let's see, here's the thing, though. I was going to say, maybe if you had the benefit of watching this before you'd seen other stuff, maybe it would have ranked higher on the action scale.
It's very
but the
possible.
commentary may have hit you differently, though.
It's very possible.
So having watched it now, you can appreciate the commentary that's in it because of what we are dealing with.
Yeah, yeah. So it's one of those that, but I'd give it a high 3.
Okay, that's fair.
Like knocking on the door of a
It's not 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, definitely not.
That's not that.
That's silly.
I think that's silly too. I think for Rotten Tomatoes, with regard to their scale and the way that they've ranked stuff before, I would say maybe a 68 to 72 range is more appropriate.
My guess is those that gave low scores on Rotten Tomatoes for this film probably also think John Cena is a good actor.
John Cena! I'm fixing to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Jim, you just had to get the reference in, didn't you? You just had.
Dude, we're talking about a wrestling.
We're talking about wrestling. You just had to throw it in there. Okay. All right, that's fine. All right. Before we get out of here on this, I know we've gone super long on this, but I really thought we were going to have a good discussion about this just because of the content of the film. But before we get out of here on this side table discussion, Jim actually has a game for us, so...
Do you want to play a game? I want to play a game.
We're going to play a little game, okay?
I don't want to play. I know who you are. I don't care. But I don't play games.
You don't have to win, but everybody plays.
That's true, Burkell.
It only seems appropriate to have that clip.
All right, so explain what the game is, my friend.
Okay, so this is kind of simple.
Okay.
You have a mug in front of you with little slips of paper, and on them are character names.
Character names.
Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin has played.
Okay.
And you have to guess the film.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
Of what character that is.
Okay, this will be fun.
And then you get bonus points if you can tell me what the film's about.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't looked up what all these are about, but I have a general idea.
You're gonna take my word for it?
They're all kind of the same, but let's be honest. Again, he's been kind of typecast.
He's been typecast, and he's played some lesser roles, we'll put it that way. All right. Here we go. I'll draw one out. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, we got... it just says Manning.
Manning? Okay.
Manning. I have no idea.
You want me to, I'll throw out a couple?
Give me a couple titles and I'll see if I can pick the one.
The Expendables, Maximum Conviction, or Damage.
Now, see, I've seen parts of Maximum Conviction, I think, because I think that's a Steven Seagal movie.
That it is.
We're going to go with that one. Is it that one?
It is that one.
Give me a hell yeah!
Yeah!
Good job. Yeah.
That movie is about, if I remember correctly, Steven Seagal leads like a group of guys. Austin is one of his guys in his group, and I think they're in a prison, like an abandoned prison.
Yeah.
And basically they're trying to track down these people. I think they may have kidnapped somebody, or I'm not 100% on that, but they basically infiltrate this prison and they got to track all the peoples down that's a part of this group. Austin, his character is actually really funny, and it's like the only bright spot of the film. Seagal is just ridiculous in the movie. It's just a stupid.
It's Steven Seagal.
Oh, it's horrible. It's as horrible.
He's overrated and he's a big piece of trash.
Like, there's 1980s, early 90s Steven Seagal, and then there's Steven Seagal now, and there is like the difference between the two is just god awful. All right, it's like so bad. But that was a shitty movie, by the way. All right, next one, Jim. Tommy Wick. What the hell? God. Give me some options.
Okay, Smosh the movie, Recoil, or The Package.
Recoil?
Hell no.
No.
Damn it.
Tommy Wick. He is a character in The Package.
Okay. Obviously, I've never seen that. Is he a delivery driver for FedEx?
No, you didn't.
Oh, well, funny you should mention that. I have no clue what it's about. It's just like Maximum Conviction, I'm sure.
It's the unofficial sequel to Maximum Conviction.
Yeah, it's one of those that like I was like, oh, I'll write down the premise of them. I'm like, you could probably make it up. And it would be pretty close. What do you think The Package is about?
It's probably about a guy who has to deliver something to someone. He's hired to deliver something, and it turns out it's like a shitty version of The Transporter, where he's just transporting what's considered a package, but it's actually a person, and then he gets involved in their story.
The Package actually stars Stone Cold Steve Austin and Dolph Lundgren.
If he dies, he dies.
Ooh. Ivan Drago himself.
A courier for a local crime lord must deliver a mysterious package while being chased by a horde of unusual gangsters.
Yeah, I was right.
Pretty.
I pretty much nailed that one.
Pretty much nailed it.
All right, let's go to the next one. What's with these one name?
Most of these characters are named one.
Tate.
What'd you say?
Tate.
Oh, Tate. I thought you said something else.
Not Taint.
Oh, okay.
That would be a horrible character name. Give me some options, because I have no clue.
The Expendables, Chain of Command, Tactical Force, or Smosh the movie.
Well, you threw Smosh the movie in, so I'm going to have to say Smosh the movie.
You suck because Stone Cold said so.
Nope.
Son of a bitch.
Tactical Force. You want to guess what that movie's about?
I think that's about a special force unit that does tactical things.
That is correct. You didn't say special forces, so...
Oh, sorry.
Yes, a training exercise for the LAPD SWAT team goes terribly wrong when they find themselves pitted against two rival gangs while trapped in an abandoned hangar, armed with nothing but blanks.
Oh, God.
That one actually sounds like it could be interesting.
I got the next one.
Okay, what do you got?
Jack Conrad, The Condemned.
Give me another hell yeah.
That is correct.
And that's a film about a guy who is on death row and...
All right, one more. Let's do one more.
All right, we'll do one more.
Yep,
Here we go. What a shitty name. Dan Barnes.
Dan Barnes.
Dan Barnes. That is a terrible character name.
That is a bad one.
I'm going to guess the synopsis without even knowing the film. He plays a shitty accountant living in a small rural town, and his wife leaves him because he's boring, and then he takes up weightlifting and becomes the next Mr. Universe.
Not too far off. All right, Dan Barnes.
Yeah.
Is it Hunt to Kill?
Oh.
Knockout? Or Recoil?
Recoil.
Give me a hell no.
No.
Damn it.
It's Knockout.
Knockout. Okay. Hey, Knockout. Is that the one where he plays a guy who gets into like bare knuckle boxing to help somebody out or something to make money? Like he fight, like street fighting kind of thing?
A retired boxer tries to help a new student, Matthew Miller, who is being targeted by bullies. While learning to box and stand up to his tormentors, the young boxer must learn to overcome his tumultuous past.
He's a janitor. He's a janitor at a school. He doesn't have his mustache. They made him shave his mustache off for the role.
Yes, and he looks... Oh my gosh.
He looks fucking weird.
He looks really weird.
Yeah. That was the one where they tried to make...
No facial hair.
Yeah, that was not a good movie. I've watched part of it and it's not good. Sorry.
Yeah, he's got a little chin music going, but that's it.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. Don't mean to shit on your movies, but that one wasn't good.
Yeah, it looks a little rough there. Man, oh man.
All right.
Just so you know, most of the movies in there were kind of very similar type of characters.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
All right, well,
Yep.
That was our new game. We had a lot of fun here doing that. I enjoyed talking about this movie. Again, like I said, The Condemned. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I will watch it every once in a while just because I like the action in it. And I do like the story that's in it. I feel like it's got some really good dialogue, some really cool one-liners and stuff that are in it that don't come across as super cheesy. But I enjoyed it, and Jim seemed to like it, favorably. Yeah. Didn't take too big of a shit on it. So I would recommend checking it out.
Yeah, it's good, especially knowing that it was one of the first his breakout role.
Yep.
Coming from the wrestling world. What John Cena did one that was like the Marine or something.
Never say that again.
Something like that.
Oh God,
I think
fucking terrible.
Never had a desire to watch it.
Terrible. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
And then The Rock, I think he did Scorpion King or something like that.
Yeah, The Rock did Scorpion King.
But the one that stands out to me with The Rock is The Rundown, and that's because it's a loaded cast, and it's really freaking good.
All these guys transitioning from the wrestling world, trying to make it big in Hollywood, some hit, some don't.
Yeah.
That's how
of
it
course,
goes.
Obviously, we're talking about a wrestler here, but we should probably mention friend of the show, Dave Bautista.
We should mention friend of the show, Dave Bautista, just because of the fact we're talking about people who have transitioned from the wrestling world to the big screen, and in my opinion, aside from The Rock's doing it. He's put his stamp, but let's be honest, the up-and-comer, the guy who has our attention, is friend of the show, Dave Bautista. He's knocking it out of the park.
Most definitely.
We love what he does.
No knock on you, Stone Cold. I know it's your day, but I also heard your Tide cold water commercial on Spotify. I think you're great.
We should probably end right
not
there.
That great.
We should probably.
And that's the bottom line.
Because Jim Miller said so. Oh, God. Happy 316 days, guys.
Jesus. Bye, guys.